there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5.
Do I have a motion to direct Council President to execute the 2025-45 Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant Agreement signature page for the pumper truck debt reduction?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6.
Do I have a motion to approve the reduction of HT Partners LLC letter of credit number STB 883 for Phase 6B, 8, 9, and 10B, leaving a balance of $604,416 as recommended by HRG?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7.
Do I have a motion to approve the special event request from the Middletown Area Historical Society to hold the 5th annual Frosty 5K Run Walk on December 6, 2025 at Huffer Park from 7 a.m. to approximately 11 a.m.?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8.
Do I have a motion to approve the Honeywell price proposal, which is dated October 13th, 2025, which is to upgrade the electric meters to Conexo NetSense 12.3 in the amount of $9,823?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9.
Do I have a motion to approve changing Middletown Borough's utility office hours to 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, effective January 1st, 2026, in order to accommodate tasks required to complete and initialize a utility payment billing system each day?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Hi, I have some questions if you want to come up. I know when this was brought up initially, it was because we have a lot of new staff coming in, correct? And the new system is going to take a little longer.
Yeah, because of the new system, after we transitioned to the cloud, it seemed that there were some, not issues that came up, but it does take a little bit longer, and the process has changed a little bit. So it requires some additional steps in the morning before we can open for the day.
So my concern is that pushing it back a half hour does prohibit some people that start work, and we're losing that window to be able to come in between 8 and 8:30. I mean, is there any way to stagger some of their start times so, like, someone could start at 8? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I know another issue that we talked about is that the start times and working hours are dictated by the Teamster contract, so any change to that would have to go back through the Teamsters and would be an alteration to their contract. So we were trying to avoid having to alter that in any way.
So if that goes through them, then how can we push it back?
So the employees would still be coming
They're
in at
coming
8 a.m.
in, it's just not opening the actual office.
Correct. Yep, it would give them time in the morning to complete all those tasks before we open for the day. They would still be coming in and working their normal hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
It's just not having anybody at the window to collect the payments.
Right.
The system, people pay overnight, okay? And then when they come in the morning, the system has to be, for lack of a better word, finished out the batch of those payments that went overnight for, let's say, yesterday, November 4th, before you can start collecting batch payments for people coming in on November 5th. And instead of having people stand at the window while you're there 15 minutes doing that, because it's really the software that's preventing till the prior stuff was completed.
Okay, so that's what I need to know. You're saying that new payments cannot be taken till all the payments from the day before are processed. Okay, that makes a difference.
Like those overnight payments that come in from, even though people pay, we have to go in and,
Yeah,
I
you
forget, you have to
you have to
process them.
process it and close out that batch. We can only have one payment batch open at a time, so we have to close out that one, everything from the night before, or if it's a Monday, everything from the weekend before we can actually process anything in-house.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Sydney, remind us again how you'll let, pardon me, residents know of the office hour change.
So we're not gonna have it go into effect until the first of the year, so we can have it go out on billbacks, we can have it be on our website, on Facebook, and we could also put something posted on the office doors. That way, when people are coming in, they'll see, that we won't be open until 8:30.
I'd like to make a recommendation that maybe we use our Nixle system and send
Okay.
out a Nixle alert to residents, because we still have a lot of residents that use the Nixle, and we don't utilize that as much as what we can. I mean, I know we have to pay for it, but that's why we have it, so we could send something out.
Okay, yeah.
So now that it's approved tonight, you can start letting people know already.
Yep, if you
Great.
guys vote to approve it, then we'll go ahead and start letting the community know.
Thank you. Thank you.
When will that start? January.
January 1st.
Okay.
Anything else?
Sir,
Just a reminder.
just a reminder, you can't just speak out during the meeting. Okay. Go ahead, Sydney.
It will be, like I said, on the bill backs, so on those electric bills and any other Nixle posted down at the office, and then as well as Facebook and our website.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10,
Okay, there are 10 parts to item number 10, so there are 10 motions. So, bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 10A.
Gotcha.
Do I have a motion, and these all have to do with transfer of funds to different accounts that we need to approve. This happens every year at this time where, prior to closing out our books. Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of $630,000 from U.S. Bank OPEB fund to pooled cash for retiree health benefits?
So moved. Second.
there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. 10B. Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of $525,000 in lieu of taxes from the electric fund to the general fund as considered in the 2025 budget?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of $102,218.12 from Pliget Liquid Fuels Funds account to reimburse pooled cash for approved items as per the 2025 approved budget?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of $32,000 in cell tower revenue to the police sinking fund to pay for vehicle leases?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of $238,000 from the water sewer fund to pooled cash to offset legal expenses related to water sewer and approve the transfer of $200,000 from the water sewer fund to pooled cash as per the 2025 budget?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of the electric fund to the electric sinking fund in the amount of $150,000 for electric capital purchases?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer from the electric debt service fund to the electric sinking fund in the amount of $359,523.01 to cover expenses related to the Spruce Street substation project?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to approve the transfer from the substation bond 2024 fund to the electric sinking fund in the amount of $3,538,185.24 to reimburse for expenses spent in 2025 for the substation?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Do I have a motion to authorize the carryover of Elks funds in the amount of $33,800 for the approved expenses from the 2025 budget to the 2026 budget?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
This is the last motion under item number 10. Do I have a motion to authorize the carryover of American Rescue funds in the amount of $239,848.39 for approved expenses in information technology and MS4 fees from the 2025 budget to the 2026?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 11.
Do I have a motion to accept with regret William Manley's resignation from the Middletown Borough Police Department effective November 11th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 12, council comments.
I want to make a comment. I want to make a comment just to our residents. This, out here, I'm looking out here and I'm seeing so many residents sitting out here. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. You guys have been engaged. The meetings have been fuller than I remember recently. And you've been speaking your voices. And I think that's, as we sit here in these seats, that's something that's extremely valuable to all of us. The discussion between each other and then to hear your voices. It really does help us make decisions. Your input's really valuable. So I would just ask, as we look through this next year, 2026, continue to do that. And just thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm not counsel, but I would offer this to piggyback on what Pat just said, that if there's any time that anybody in the audience didn't get enough information, didn't quite understand something they heard and wants to know more, that you can contact my office the next day, and we can provide that for you.
That's good.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I do have something.
go ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I just want to go back and touch base to what I had brought up at the last meeting regarding the request to have officer at our meetings. So I realized over the last week that, after tonight we have 3 more meetings. And, it became very clear at our last meeting that there's not going to be any compromise and we're not going to have an officer at our last meetings. Mayor Curry made that very clear. So out of the next 3, there are going to be 2 workshop meetings, which Public Safety Director Wright will be here because he presents at those meetings. So that leaves us 1 meeting in between those that we would have left without somebody here. So that would be the only meeting we would really have to be concerned with. which I think at some point we're gonna have to discuss maybe at our workshop meeting. I would like to discuss that, because I think, you know, as elected officials and with what is going on in our country today and what we've seen in our own meetings, whether it's someone considering us to be cowards or not, I feel that the safety of our residents, our staff, and this governing body should be first and foremost for everybody at this table. Next year, this isn't going to be an issue or a question, because there will be a sworn officer at every meeting that I attend and everybody attends, because the safety of everyone here in this room should be first and foremost every single time that there's someone here, because that is what matters most. So I would like, again, I'm requesting that for our last meeting, that we don't have public safety right at the meeting, that we have outside security hired so that everybody here is protected, and we can have a meeting that has it's safe and there's order, and we can meet without disruption.
Anyone else?
Sure. So the election's over, one. Number two, I'm sorry, I'm talking. I didn't say a word while you were talking. The election's over. Number one, in your little soliloquy from the last meeting, you noted that your first request to have an officer at every meeting came up in August of 2025. You never brought it up at the first September meeting. You didn't bring it up at the second September meeting. You didn't bring it up at the first meeting in October. You didn't bring it up in the second meeting of October. You didn't bring it up until the special meeting to override my veto when it was convenient for your last push for the election. First, the first request for an officer at every meeting came because a gentleman who spoke out of turn was interacting with the council president and then you two on the way out. We're talking about a gentleman who was in his 70s with a cane. And that's when you told me you wanted to request an officer at every meeting. I thought that was absurd. There was no articulable threat from a 75-year-old man with a cane. The second time you asked me was because of someone with a Facebook post who said that as a result of your inaction on the electric rates, you were all fascists. That was the comment that you brought to me and said, we want an officer at the meeting. That was taken seriously. I took that to the public safety director. It was investigated. They knew the person. He had made comments randomly on the police pages before. Dan Wright came back and said there's no articulable threat, so we don't need an officer at the meeting. That was my position. Do not sit here and say that I have not taken any of your safety for granted over the 12 years that I've been mayor. Need I remind you that I had undercover officers outside this building when we used to have someone drive by or ride by and yell things and yell obscenities up to this window? You had undercover officers outside this meeting. Or let me remind you of the time that we had threats that came in via text or phone calls, and I actually had the officers do patrols around your homes to ensure that you were all safe. You may not have been on council yet. I'm not sure.
I was.
But, so you were or you weren't?
I was.
Okay, so then clearly I do take your safety seriously. But now to bring it up yet again, when we have 3 meetings left, and by your own admission, Dan Wright will be at 2 of them, and we have 1 to go, it's a useless conversation. If you don't feel safe, participate from home via telephone. If you don't feel safe, participate from home via telephone, or if you just don't want to have the meeting at all, cancel the damn thing. Until I am out of office as mayor, this is the way that I'm handling it. I have asked every one of you in the email, do you have a credible, articulable threat that I should investigate? You've never given me anything. You had a 75-year-old man with a cane, and you had a random Facebook post, which the police department did investigate. So to bring this up yet again is just you chomping at the bit to have a gotcha moment. I'm not changing my mind. You're going to be mayor in January of 2026. Congratulations, you made your first decision.
Excuse me, now that you're finished. A, I'm well aware the election's over. This has nothing to do with it. I never got an email from you asking me if I was threatened by anyone, so you pointed to us. I was never asked by you. And I want to know, can you guarantee me that not one person in this audience is carrying a gun right now? There are no metal detectors in this building. There's no policy. How do you know that not one person in that audience has a gun? Do you know that? Do you know that?
Would you like me to answer, or do you want to keep
No,
going?
I'm asking you. Do you know?
You can't stop anyone from bringing a weapon into
I
this
know that,
building.
but I would feel a hell of a lot more safe if Dan Wright was here carrying a gun.
Bring your gun.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
But you have one meeting where he's not going to
Maybe
be
I
here,
should.
and for you to continue
Is
to
he
bring it
here
up,
tonight?
it's very political of you to
No,
do
it's
that.
not
It is.
political.
You know
it's
why?
not,
So
Jim.
then answer me why you didn't do it.
It's 2025.
So why didn't you do it?
Because every chance I had to bring it up, Dan Wright was here.
Oh, interesting. So no, I didn't send you an email, but you, as the council president, sent me an email to say the body as a whole, the majority of the council wants you to do this. So clearly you all have been talking. So when I respond to her, it's going back to all of you, and don't tell me that you didn't know that I declined the request, because that is a crock. Number
That's
two.
not what I said.
Okay, so I was communicating with her because she's the council president, and she's the one that came to me and said that the majority of the council wants an officer at the meeting. And I responded back to her and said, I'm declining the request, unless you can tell me that there's a credible, articulable threat. And I did not get one back. So that's the way that it's going to be until December 31st of 2025.
So, to be clear, I wasn't asking you for an officer. To be clear, that's not my request, because you made it very clear you were denying the request. So, to be clear, that's
So
not what the request
you're
is.
going-
The request is to hire outside security for our last meeting. So,
You're not
to
going to be
clear.
able to do that because today is a workshop meeting. You don't even have the ability to do that.
Actually,
You've been
it's-
serving here for 7 years.
can.
It's not on the so when are you doing it?
We
When are
can
you
put
gonna
it
do
on the agenda for the next meeting.
Here it is again, folks.
Oh,
Everyone
yes,
pay
here it is
attention.
again.
Anytime, you're going to gavel him? You're going to gavel this one right here? Anytime that something is to be on the agenda that she wants, it's instantaneous. Last meeting you saw it, now she's telling you tonight she's going to instantaneously do it to make a decision. My question then is, what happened to September 1, September 2, October 1, October 2? You didn't bring it up at any of those meetings. You could have had it on the agenda. Don't call me Jimmy. Don't call me Jimmy. Yeah, okay. I'm not on a pulpit. You're the one that's
Right.
bringing this up. How come you didn't bring it up in September or October? Why? Why didn't you bring it up?
Because you denied it.
Why didn't you bring up the private request
I
for
just
security?
told you why.
Why didn't you
because
do a private security for him in
Hey,
September
hey,
or
hey.
October?
Can we
Exactly.
clear up that point about the agenda and move on?
Okay, so they just asked me to clarify, legally, if the president wants to put it on the agenda, the president can put it on the agenda. Obviously, the majority of council could override that and say it's not gonna be on, but as a point of legal clarification, it doesn't even have to be asked for in the room, it could be asked for out in the hall or whatever, but the president could put it on the agenda.
My question to you then, Jim, is you're putting it on the agenda to do what? Hire a private security firm? How are you going to have the names of the firms or the prices ready for the next meeting to not only have that researched in time, but voted on at the next meeting?
Presumably, the manager would have to go out and get information from, you know.
Go ahead, put it on the agenda. You have one meeting that you need private security. And welcome to Grievance World, because that is an just cancel the meeting. Just cancel the meeting then.
Or
And
you
push
could
push all your stuff to the second meeting in December.
Compromise and allow someone
Okay.
to be here. How
I
about
will
that
not.
idea?
I will
Of
not.
course not.
No, because you know why?
Of course
My
not.
question has not been answered.
No.
Why didn't you ask for the private security throughout all of September and all of October?
You do not need to point your finger
I'm
at
asking you a
me.
question. You don't need to
You
call me
need to
Jimmy.
point-
So I'm
don't need
asking
to
you the
point your
question.
finger at me.
What's the
Enough.
what's the
We
answer?
heard enough.
I just told you why.
What's the answer?
I just told you
Private
why.
security, September and October.
I just told you
There's no answer.
why. Oh, okay.
There's no answer.
I just answered you 3 times. Did you not hear me?
Because I declined an officer. I asked you about private security.
And
Why
I
didn't you make a
Jim.
motion to get it on the agenda to hire them in September or October?
Really? I just answered you 3
Okay.
times.
Okay.
Did you not hear me?
Does anyone else have anything?
I actually have something else.
Before you move on, I have a quick question just in regards to that. Is that, and this is just I'm thinking through right now, is that even something we can do based on, like, the police union? Because if there's, you know, if we hire an outside security agency, does that interfere with the unionized police and what their rights are to jobs in our building?
Yeah, not necessarily, and that's, I know Mike Miller, looks at this stuff and would obviously recheck that with him, but they would not have general arrest power or anything like that, it'd just be a security guard. So, yeah, there may well be a grievance, there may, you know, that's just the world of it, but, you know, you're not bringing them in to actually get in a police car, go out and you know, be enforcing the law generally. They're just gonna act as a security guard, is what I think is being proposed. I haven't seen any specificity to anything.
Alright, I'm just curious. That's all, Andy, I just had that quick question.
So for clarity, is that on the agenda for next? Am I to do anything? I mean, the council has to, just have a discussion.
It's up to council president, I think, here, if she wants to do.
Am I directed to call some people?
Call two firms and see. I mean, I don't know. We have no idea what that costs.
I don't either.
There's no discussion yet on that. I don't know.
Are we just having a discussion at the next meeting? Or do you want quotes?
This is a business meeting, correct?
Yeah.
So the next meeting would be the workshop meeting.
Right.
So we can discuss it at the workshop meeting again, but maybe you could look into pricing for the next meeting and get back to us. That would be
Have it
fantastic.
ready for the workshop?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great, Ken, thank you.
Yeah, I'd suggest if you're you know, to get 3 if you can.
Three?
Try to get 3 if you can, instead of just 2.
I have one last question. So, what are you doing, Mr. Manager? You're bringing 3 names with prices to the November 18th workshop meeting.
If I can. If I get them in time.
Okay,
Bring what I can.
okay.
They'll probably ask questions whether you want armed guards or unarmed guards, because in security, there's both.
Right.
Since nobody knows where it's going, you may wanna get a menu list of,
Okay,
you know.
I'll do that. I'll
It is gonna be very tough logistically in that amount of time to do a
It is.
public procurement kind of thing, and, but it's,
I'll see what I can get.
I'm gonna say, it's up to the president whether it goes on the agenda or not, and then,
This is just maybe Captain Obvious speaking, but, I mean, this is gonna be manpower going into this. This is going to be, I mean, legal fees even going into this. Is it prudent enough if it's feeling unsafe that we just simply say, we're not gonna have that meeting? Would that be, I mean, we're thinking about all this money and time we're gonna be putting into this for literally one meeting, cause when, you know, future Mayor Lloyd here sits in, she'll enact a police officer in here, I'm sure.
I don't think that's really the solution. That's not really fair to the public when we have a meeting.
Is it fair to use the money though like that?
Sure, we could list 5 pages of things that we use money for that shouldn't be used for. When we have a salaried public safety director that could easily be here that night.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions?
The only thing I'll recommend to the body is that if you have a situation, probably before the meeting starts, there's a lot of new faces here. It would be helpful to say, if you're here to express your First Amendment and you want to speak, there are 2 moments in this meeting to do it. Right at the beginning in public comment for items only on the agenda, and at the end, and if you stand and speak, you have to give your name and address. You're going to be limited to 4 minutes. We don't do that at the beginning of every meeting, and there are people that are new that have expressed themselves from the audience because maybe they're not even aware of how this works. If they entered the room and didn't pick up the paper from that podium, they wouldn't know that. So 1, that announcement should occur. 2, I find it very curious that when there was a gentleman that was arguing last time, he was immediately asked to leave. You turned to me and said, we need to get the police in here. But I was yelled at for multiple minutes thereafter. No request was made for police for me being berated for that period of time. And I really don't care because that is what the public is allowed to do. I wasn't scared about it. But if you are, in fact, feeling that the meeting is delving out of control, it's this simple. Do I have a motion to recess the meeting for 10 minutes? Motion, second, done. Leave until that situation is calmed down. That's as simple as that.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none? Now is the time of general public comment. Public comment is limited to 4 minutes per speaker. It is also live streamed, so it's being taped and recorded. And the council is asked not to interrupt because it is the residents' 4 minutes. You'll need to come up, sign in with your name and address, and Grace will start the timer. Do I have any comments? Then come forward.
Norman Goss, 51 Ann Street, Middletown, PA. I addressed you when we were talking about the electric, the bills. I had some numbers I wanted to pass out that everybody can see. Everybody, these are, remember we were talking about how we have a lot of people in this district, and this shows how many people that aren't well off when we were talking about the electric bill. So I just want to show you numbers about it. I'll give you a minute if you want to look at it, but this is all public knowledge. Any of you can find it, and this tells there's programs for breakfast and during the summer free, and then to anybody they don't have to meet criteria, but to get free and reduced lunch you have to have low income, and this is the percentages. So I just wanted you to see this so you have an idea of what's going on. The second thing I wanted to bring up, Saturday, I didn't know if anybody knows, the Boy Scouts are coming around for a food drive. If you let stuff on your porch at 9 o'clock, they'll pick it up. And I'm going to put food out to help the people. And the third thing I wanted to try to bring up, Halloween. I walked down Wilson Street, there was one light on. Down in my neck of the woods, there was 2. Up on the next block, hers, there's probably 4. So these kids are walking all the way around, and my mother, where she lives, the churches have trick or treat that everybody can go to the churches, and then all the kids could come, and it would be more safer for the kids. That's what I'm just trying to get to, that maybe we get all the churches to have trick or treat, or if the person is elderly, they could be in their car and they call it trick or trunk, that all the kids could go to the different churches instead of walking way down Wilson Street for one house, down to my block for 2 houses, up to her house, her blocks for 4 houses. I'm just trying to help make it more safer for the children. That's all I have. I appreciate your time. Thank you. And whoever won the election, congratulations.
May I comment now that his time is up?
Sure.
Mr. Goss?
Yes.
May I just say that the idea of having the churches do trunk or treat could be an idea to take to the Middletown Interfaith Council. That is the organization in town where churches meet and they work on projects together.
I was telling my mom I was very disappointed because, come on, you're crossing Ann Street. Did you ever come down Ann Street in the evening? It's like Route 30. They're flying. It ain't 25 miles an hour. Some of them cars are going 60. And when that light changes, them trucks just barrel right through. And you're going to get a kid hit. And I hate to see a kid hit for one treat. You understand what I'm saying? One treat. And you're going to say, I just thought we could get together, or we could, as a group, could contact the churches and see if they would do it.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Us and the church. Us as a community to get together and say that maybe up here, this church, down here at Wesley, over there on Water Street, and just say, hey, could residents come and either set up a table, and if they're elderly, sit in their car and hand out candy, which would be more safer for our children. I'm just looking out for our community.
Good. Thank you.
It's just an idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Back still. Something what Angie said about the, maybe opening earlier or something like that. Open earlier isn't the problem, it's processing the data. So maybe somebody down there could come in a half hour, an hour, and process the data earlier, and then maybe you could get your times back that you wanted.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Seeing no one?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I just have a follow-up question to the gentleman about the Boy Scouts. Do you need me to put my name here or anything?
Yes, if you would.
Mike Richer, 102 Oak Hill Drive. Sir, you said about Boy Scouts coming. Do you have a particular route for food?
They just said everybody in the borough, they were gonna tape at 9 o'clock in the morning for pickup. Now, last year, they missed me, so then I took all my food over to the food bank,
Second again.
but it's supposed to be Saturday that they're doing this in Middletown,
Okay.
from what I understand.
I just didn't know if they had a particular route that they were going to take.
I got one on my door, but it had a number to call, but he didn't give it to me, or you're not on that route.
Yeah, that's generally how those things work, like Dawn is saying, that, flyer goes out with a phone number, and if you're gonna put something out, you call them and have them give you their address.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I didn't know, I'm just trying to help out.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, we will be going to executive session, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.